Coach Jon Scheyer has finally given us the injury diagnosis on a Duke starter, and this is not what we wanted to hear. We got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Duke Basketball 365. If you're a Duke Blue Devils fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 15.5% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into the news that we have for today. Coming from On3 on Twitter, breaking news: Duke starting point guard Caleb Foster has suffered a fractured foot, announced by Coach Jon Scheyer. Now, this is devastating for Caleb Foster because he was coming off, or he's still in the middle of having an amazing season for Duke after a very disappointing sophomore campaign for the former 5-star recruit out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It felt like everything was coming together for Caleb Foster this season. He had his confidence back. I can't even say he had it back. He had his confidence up in a way that we have never seen it in a Duke uniform. Caleb Foster was an amazing defender for us so far this season, and I'm stuck between was and still is, because we still don't have the news whether or not this is going to hold him out for the rest of the season. We know for a fact it will be holding him out for the ACC tournament, likely holding him out for at least the first weekend of March Madness. The hope would be getting him back for the Final Four, maybe the Elite Eight, if we're able to make it that far. Of course, we are huge favorites to make it that far, but you got to take this one game at a time. You can't project something that far out. But I'm not going to say we need to get Caleb Foster back, because we do have other players who can step up in his absence that we're going to talk about later in this video. Yes, it's a hit. Yes, our odds get worse with Caleb Foster, but this is not by any means a death blow to our title hopes. It's tough. It's going to be tough to overcome, but it is certainly not over for us so far. Now, for our other update, the big news was we finally know exactly what the actual injury was with Caleb Foster, because we didn't know, was it his knee? Was it his shin? Was it his ankle? We didn't know. We now know fractured foot. But Patrick Gungba, also, we know that Gungba is out for the ACC tournament. Expecting to get him back for March Madness, but we're not going to look too far into the future on that yet. However, we know that in the absence of Caleb Foster, this represents a great opportunity for Caden Boozer to now step up. He had a pretty touching press conference a couple days ago where he talked about how this is likely his final regular season ever playing with his brother Cam Boozer, because we know Cameron Boozer going to be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft, if not even higher than that. If not, the number 1 is still in the range of possibilities for Cameron Boozer, as he won the ACC's Player of the Year. Caden Boozer wants to go out on a high note with his brother, and one of the side effects for putting in Caden Boozer instead of Caleb Foster is all of Cameron Boozer's stats go up while Caden Boozer is on the floor. Makes a ton of sense. A player that, let's just say you have chemistry with, his twin brother, who he's been playing with his entire life. It makes perfect sense why Caden Boozer being on the floor helps Cameron Boozer reach a whole nother level. But we got some stuff to do. We got some difficult games coming up. However, this is not something that Duke is not used to going through in the ACC tournament. As last year, as we can see from the devilsden.com on X, we could see last year Duke won the ACC without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown. This year, we will have to do it without Caleb Foster and Patrick Gungba. So we are still big favorites to win the ACC tournament. We are still expected to win the ACC tournament, knowing what we have in-house, knowing what kind of talent, what kind of experience, what kind of coaching. We're still expected to win the ACC, and I still expect that Duke will win the ACC. Last year, Cooper Flagg, best player in college basketball. We didn't have him. We still won. Malik Brown, the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year 2025-6. We won it without him last year as well. So it is not new to us to have to play in the ACC tournament without some of our best players. Now, also coming from the Devil's Den on Twitter, with Foster and Gungba out, Duke will rely on Cam Boozer and Malik Brown at the 5. So we know when our starting 5 goes out, we are going to have to switch up how we are going to be doing things with our big men. maybe Cam Boozer gets more time. The way Jon Scheyer has been talking about this ACC tournament, it is clear and obvious that he's focused on March Madness. He's focused on the big dance. He would love to win the ACC tournament, but he's focused on winning the big tournament, the one that actually really matters. I don't want to say that actually matters because that insinuates that the ACC tournament doesn't matter, but we know if you're going to win one and you're going to prepare for one, we know which one you want to prepare for. This Duke team, a special group that has a real chance of winning March Madness to the point where you would rather go out and prepare for March Madness and be a little bit risky with the ACC tournament. But Malik Brown at the 5, slightly undersized height-wise, however, certainly not undersized skill-wise. I know that doesn't make any sense, but Malik Brown, skilled enough to be a starting 5, it feels like anywhere in the ACC. A little bit shorter than what you're looking for. He's going to have to keep his fouls under control. He got into a bit of foul trouble versus North Carolina, but when he was on the floor, just a game-changing player. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC. What else do you even need from Malik Brown? But there's more defensive help that Duke is receiving from some other rotational players. Continuing with this tweet here, Dame Sarr continuing to play well with Evans on the wing will go a long way, and Caden Boozer has been just fine this year. And then bench is Darren Harris and Nik Khamenia. Big opportunities there. The great thing about Duke is we are always deep. We have high-level recruits always ready to go. Not a lot of schools in the landscape of college basketball are going to be able to lose a 5-star at the point guard position and just replace him with another guy who any given day could have a better game than your starter. We know that Caden Boozer, he's had a solid year, just fine. Maybe, with expectations of what he was coming in expecting to do, you could call his season just fine. I would say his season has been, solid because, highly touted recruit, but also Darren Harris will be getting more opportunities now that we will need a new guard in the rotation. Nik Khamenia, who has given Duke very solid minutes in the opportunities that he has been given. Didn't shoot the 3 well versus North Carolina, but we've seen Khamenia shoot the 3 decently effectively over the course of this season. Now, finishing this video off, today is Tuesday at 7 p.m. The ACC conference tournament gets underway. Tonight is Virginia Tech versus Wake Forest. That is a game that doesn't affect us all too much unless one of those teams were able to pull off 3 victories and then meet us in the semifinal round. We have a 2-round bye, meaning our first game will be on Thursday night. We will be playing the winner of one of the single bye games, which is that Florida State versus California game. Whichever one of those teams, both having a first round bye, whichever one of those teams are victorious tomorrow night at 7 p.m. will then be facing off against us on Thursday night, also at 7 p.m. If you're looking at the way that the bracket is shaping up, certainly looks like there is going to be another big time rivalry game shaping itself in the semifinals of the March Madness tournament. I don't expect Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, or Clemson to knock off the Tar Heels, but I mean, honestly, I don't know if I want them to, because it would be funny to watch North Carolina lose to a team that's worse than us, but at the same time, I would also love to do it ourselves. So I think as long as we beat North Carolina, should we play them, win-win situation there. Excited to watch the ACC tournament this week. Got Selection Sunday coming up. We've got a lot of great college basketball over the next couple weeks. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Duke.